What can you say about Andrew Lincoln's acting? Is it better than the original? I think it's on par with the original. It's like he never left. Man just doesn't miss a beat. There are certain things, you know, that Rick needs to be. And I think that you see all of those attributes as you're watching the show, and you're like, oh yes, this is why I fell in love with this show. This is why I fell in love with Andrew Lincoln as Rick. Like, this is my guy, even if he's a little broken, even if he's a little bit of a sad boy right now, you know, even like you still see the fight in him. You still see the guy who ripped out a jugular to save his son, to save Carl. He just needs, you know, honestly, Rick reminds me of a lot of us going through the pandemic, where some of us, including myself, were isolated from people who we loved for a really long time, and that kind of changed us. And I was away from the people who I loved for like 9 months at a time, and I was not touched, I was not hugged by anyone for that amount of time. And you don't realize how that affects you as a human being. And I remember when I went home, and when I was finally just like, people just started hugging me, and I didn't know how to react. Like I was me, but I wasn't me, you know? And I wasn't me for a long time. And I feel like I'm still trying to get back to me at times. And I mention all of that because I see that in Rick. I really see that in the writing, whether or not that was purposeful, but that's the best way that I can describe, you know, Rick in these first 4 episodes. He is himself, and yet he's not too far gone. You know, he really just, he needs his people. He needs his people to bring him back. And yeah, I think that's the best way to go about that. Yeah, wow. I haven't thought about that until just sitting here and thinking about that question. I think they did a really good job of capturing how isolation can, and how being ripped away from the people who you love, how that changes you and what it makes you become. And then after a while, you kind of just become a little complacent, and you go, well, this is how life is now. Oh, great question.